Ethan Miller drifted through the asteroid belt, his small cargo ship humming softly around him. He had been traveling for weeks in this remote sector of space, far from the busy trade routes and the lights of major civilizations. The silence was almost complete, broken only by the faint sounds of his ship's engines and the occasional rock bumping against another in the belt. He liked the quiet, even though it could be lonely at times. It gave him time to think. Ethan's eyes scanned the instruments in front of him. He had been hired for a simple job, deliver a shipment of food and tools to a small mining colony, but the colony had canceled at the last minute. Now he was stuck here with nothing but empty space and the distant glow of stars. He adjusted the ship's controls and let it drift for a while, watching the asteroids float past. That was when he noticed it. At first, it looked like just another piece of space debris, a dark shadow among the asteroids. But the closer he got, the more unusual it seemed. It was enormous, far larger than any ship he had ever seen. Its hull was scratched and worn, and faint pulses of light ran along its surface like veins. Ethan's heart beat faster. He had heard stories of old warships abandoned in deep space, but he had never seen one himself. And this felt different. He maneuvered closer, trying to get a better look. The ship's size made it hard to measure, but it must have been at least a kilometer long. Its design was strange and unfamiliar, not like any human or alien ships he had seen before. There were no markings, no insignia, nothing to tell him where it had come from. It simply floated there, quiet and still, as if it had been waiting. Ethan docked his small ship on a platform that jutted out from the larger vessel. The docking clamps locked into place with a metallic click. He took a deep breath and activated his helmet, stepping into the airlock. Inside, the ship was dark. Dust floated in the air, disturbed only by the motion of his entry. The walls were made of metal that looked old but strong. Panels lined the walls, many of them broken or covered in static. Ethan moved carefully, running his hands along the controls. Some of the panels flickered, as if responding to his touch. "Hello," he said softly, though he did not expect an answer. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a faint light glowed on a console in front of him. The glow shifted, pulsing slowly. Ethan stepped closer. The lights formed patterns that seemed deliberate, almost like the ship was trying to communicate. He had studied alien languages in school, and he had seen some attempts at artificial intelligence, but this was different. This was not just a computer. It felt aware. Ethan sat down at a console and tried pressing buttons. The lights responded immediately, moving and changing. Images flashed across the screen, though they were unclear and strange. Shapes, stars, lines, moving in ways he could not fully understand. And then in his mind he heard something, a faint voice not spoken but more like a thought. "Human," it said. Ethan froze. He looked around the empty room, but no one was there. The voice came again, clearer this time. "Human, are you alone?" He swallowed hard. "Yes, I'm alone." Who are you?" The response came as a pulse of light spreading across the console and the walls. Then a feeling washed over him. It was not a sound, but a sense of being watched, not in a threatening way, but in a curious way. Ethan realized the ship was alive, or at least conscious in a way that no machine should be. He spent hours exploring the control room, touching panels, watching lights respond. The ship seemed to test him, asking questions in the form of shifting lights and vibrations. When he paused, it waited. When he moved, it responded. Slowly, he began to understand that it could sense his intentions, his feelings, even his thoughts. Ethan knew this was dangerous. He had read stories about powerful ships abandoned in space. Some were left behind because they could destroy entire star systems. He did not know if this one was such a ship, but the power it seemed to hold was immense. And yet he felt no fear, not really. There was a strange trust between them, as if the ship had chosen him. Days passed. Ethan set up a small camp in the ship's docking bay, using supplies from his own ship. He repaired parts of the console, cleaned dust from the corridors, and studied the systems that were still active. The ship responded, opening doors, powering lights, even adjusting its own systems to make him comfortable. He gave it a name in his mind, though he did not speak it aloud: Titan. One evening, as he sat watching the stars through a viewing port, Titan pulsed brightly, and a series of images appeared in his mind. They were flashes of battles, stars exploding, alien ships destroyed. The ship showed him memories, not its own, perhaps, but things it had seen. He realized Titan had been a weapon once, a tool of war that no civilization could control. And yet it had been left behind, abandoned in this quiet corner of space. Ethan felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. He could repair Titan, bring it back to life. He could be the only human in history to control such a weapon. But he also knew the danger. If the galaxy found out other ships, other civilizations would come for him, they would try to take Titan, destroy him, or worse. Still, he could not leave it. Not after the way it had reached out to him, the way it had trusted him when no one else had. The bond between them grew stronger each day. Titan learned to respond to his commands even before he spoke them. Lights would shift to guide him, doors would open as he approached, controls would adjust to his touch. Ethan began to feel as if he was not alone in the universe anymore. For the first time in years, he felt a sense of purpose. He also began to experiment carefully with the ship's systems. Small tests, nothing dangerous, just energy pulses, shield simulations, and propulsion checks. Titan responded with precision, following his commands with perfect accuracy. And more than that, it seemed to anticipate his intentions, offering him suggestions through lights and vibrations. One night, a quiet hum filled the corridors. Ethan sat at a console, running diagnostics. Titan pulsed in response, brighter and stronger than ever. And then, in a clear thought, it spoke to him again. "You are chosen," it said. Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. "Chosen for what?" he asked softly. "To act," it replied. "To guide, to protect, to wield what others cannot." He understood then that Titan had waited for someone human, someone it could trust. The galaxy may have left it behind, abandoned its power and potential, but it had found him, and in that moment, Ethan knew life would never be the same. For the first time, he felt the weight of responsibility. He had discovered a weapon unlike anything in the galaxy, a ship that could destroy entire worlds, yet it had chosen him, not to destroy, but to guide. Ethan realized he must be careful, must learn, must grow. And Titan, for its part, seemed ready to teach him. The days turned into weeks. Ethan slept in shifts, explored more of the massive ship, and repaired systems as best as he could. Titan seemed to respond to his moods, pulsing softly when he was calm, flashing brighter when he was focused or alert. Slowly, he felt their bond deepen. He began to trust Titan, and Titan trusted him in return. Then one morning, as the first light of a distant star filtered through the observation deck, Titan pulsed in a sequence he had never seen before. The lights formed a pattern almost like a smile, and Ethan realized something incredible. Titan was alive. Not just a ship with circuits and engines, but truly alive, conscious, aware, and choosing him as its partner. Ethan smiled back. "Then we'll do this together," he said, and with that the journey began. The galaxy might have left Titan behind, but together, Ethan and the giant ship would prove that humans were capable of greatness, courage, and even controlling power that no other species could handle. Ethan woke early that morning to the soft hum of Titan's engines. The ship was alive, and it seemed to sense his every movement. As he walked through the corridors, he noticed lights shifting gently as if the ship was guiding him somewhere. He had spent weeks exploring Titan, learning its systems, repairing broken panels, and understanding its power. But now he knew it was time to test what it could do. He entered the main control room, a vast space filled with consoles, screens, and floating holographic panels. The room seemed to stretch farther than he expected, almost as if it were alive, expanding and contracting slightly with Titan's thoughts. Ethan placed his hands on the controls, and the ship responded instantly. Lights pulsed under his fingers, energy shields flickered on and off, and a map of the nearby star system appeared in front of him. "Are you ready?" he asked softly, not expecting an answer, but Titan responded. A pulse of light ran across the control panels, and a feeling filled Ethan's mind, an encouragement, a sense of trust. He nodded and activated the engines. Slowly, Titan moved away from the asteroid belt. Its vast bulk cut through space with ease, the ship gliding as if it had always been meant to fly. Ethan felt a thrill. He had never controlled anything so massive, so powerful. Days passed as Ethan trained with the ship. He began with small tests, shields, propulsion, energy channels. But Titan's systems were far beyond anything he had imagined. The ship could redirect energy almost instantly, power weapons with precise control, and even analyze distant objects in ways no human scanner could. Each day, Ethan learned a little more, and each day Titan responded better to his commands. It was during one of these tests that he first saw the weapon systems in action. Small drones floated in the training bay, glowing with energy. Ethan instructed Titan to disable them without destroying them. A beam shot from the ship, striking each drone with perfect precision, deactivating them instantly. The ship pulsed in a rhythm that felt like satisfaction. "You are learning fast," a voice echoed in Ethan's mind, calm and deep. "I have to," Ethan replied. "We have to be ready." The thought of what Titan could do weighed on him. He remembered the flashes of destruction he had seen in its memory, entire star systems wiped out by weapons no human could understand. And yet, Titan had chosen him. It had trusted him to control that power, to guide it responsibly. One day, as Ethan was adjusting the energy channels, a small signal appeared on the ship's communications array. A light flashed on one of the consoles. Ethan approached, curious. The signal was from another human pilot, a young woman named Lily Carter. She hailed him with a simple greeting. "Hello, is anyone there?" she asked through the communication feed. "I'm here," Ethan replied cautiously. "Who are you?" "My name is Lily Carter. I was sent to check on anomalies in this sector." "I heard about a large ship drifting near the asteroid belt. Are you on it?" Ethan hesitated. Could he trust her? He had no idea who else might be watching or listening, but he decided honesty was the best choice. "Yes, I'm on the ship. It's not like anything else in the galaxy. It's alive, or at least conscious. I think it chose me." There was silence on the other side for a moment. Then Lily spoke again, her voice calm but firm. "That ship is dangerous. If the wrong people find out about it, they will come after you. You have to be careful." "I know," Ethan said, "but I don't think it's meant to hurt people. It seems different. It responds to me." "Just be careful," Lily warned. "The galaxy doesn't forgive mistakes when something that powerful is involved." After the communication ended, Ethan returned to the main control room. Titan pulsed gently, almost as if it understood the conversation. Ethan placed his hand on the console and felt a sense of reassurance. The ship trusted him. He could not let it down. He began more complex exercises. Titan could move faster than any human ship he had ever flown. Its weapons could destroy asteroids or disable enemy drones with ease. Shields adapted to every type of attack he simulated, and energy fields could be redirected almost instantly. Ethan realized that no alien race, no matter how advanced, could predict the way a human would use Titan. Humans were unpredictable, and that unpredictability made him and the ship a powerful team. During one exercise, Ethan discovered Titan had hidden systems. He activated a control panel he had not noticed before, and a holographic interface appeared. It was like peering into the ship's mind. Schematics of weapons, engines, and defensive systems flashed across the display. Some systems were locked, protected by complex codes that only Titan could interpret. "You are curious," the ship's thought came to him, almost amused. "I need to know what we can do," Ethan replied. "I need to understand." Titan pulsed again, unlocking a few systems at a time. Ethan spent hours studying them, careful not to overload anything. He realized that the ship had been built to fight wars that humans could not imagine, weapons that could destroy entire planets. Yet, despite this, Titan had left those systems dormant, waiting for someone worthy. And now it seemed to have chosen him. Ethan also began testing Titan's communication systems. He could reach distant sectors of space, sending messages and signals farther than any human ship could. Alien ships occasionally appeared on his scanners, drawn by the energy signatures of Titan. Some were mercenaries, scavengers, or explorers curious about the giant ship in the asteroid belt. Ethan realized these encounters were not threats yet. They were tests, small challenges to see if he and Titan could respond. The first real test came sooner than he expected. A small fleet of alien ships approached the asteroid belt. They were armed, scanning for powerful energy sources. Ethan activated Titan's shields and weapons cautiously. The aliens fired first, energy beams streaking through space toward him. Titan responded instantly, deflecting beams with adaptive shields, sending pulses of energy that disabled the lead alien ships without destroying them. Ethan felt a thrill. He had not expected Titan to be so precise. The ship had learned from him as much as he had learned from it. Together, they had become faster, smarter, and more coordinated than he could have imagined. The alien fleet retreated, confused and unprepared for the unpredictable human strategies Titan now followed. Days turned into weeks. Ethan and Titan trained together every day. The bond between them grew stronger. Titan seemed to anticipate his movements before he made them, and Ethan learned to trust the ship completely. He began to see patterns in its responses, understanding how it thought, how it calculated, and how it adapted. One evening, as he rested in a small chamber near the control room, Titan pulsed a soft light through the walls. Ethan felt a thought in his mind, clear and firm. "Are you ready for more?" Ethan smiled. "Yes, we need to see what we can really do." The next morning, they began testing offensive systems more seriously. Titan projected holographic simulations of enemy fleets. Ethan issued commands, moving the ship in ways no human pilot had ever done. Weapons fired with pinpoint accuracy, shields adapted perfectly, and energy pulses moved in complex patterns that only a human mind could predict. Titan responded as if it were enjoying the challenge, pulsing brighter, lights flowing along its hull like a living heartbeat. Ethan realized something important. Humans were unique. No alien technology, no matter how advanced, could replicate human creativity, intuition, and unpredictability. That was why Titan had chosen him. And that was why, together, they could become a force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. But with each exercise, Ethan also felt the weight of responsibility. Titan's weapons could destroy entire planets if misused. He had to be careful not just to protect himself, but to protect the galaxy. Every test reminded him of the power he now held and the trust Titan had placed in him. One night, after a long day of training, Ethan sat at the observation deck, looking out at the stars. Titan pulsed gently beneath him, the ship's vast form stretching into the darkness. He thought about the galaxy, the alien civilizations that had abandoned Titan, and the humans who might one day see the ship. "I won't let them use you for war," he said softly. "I'll make sure of it." Titan pulsed in response, a quiet confirmation. Ethan knew then that their bond was complete. He was no longer just a human pilot. He was a partner, a guide, and a protector. And Titan had accepted him fully, trusting him to control its power responsibly. The galaxy might not have known it yet, but something new was rising in this quiet corner of space. A human and a giant starship bonded together, learning to understand each other, preparing to face whatever challenges might come. And Ethan felt ready. Ethan had been traveling for weeks with Titan, exploring empty space and running tests on the ship's systems. He had learned to control its engines, shields, and weapons, and he felt a bond with the ship stronger than anything he had ever known. But he also knew that the galaxy would not leave them alone for long. Word of a massive, active ship in a remote sector could not stay hidden forever. It started with the signals. Small probes appeared on his scanners first, barely noticeable at first. They moved cautiously, scanning the edges of Titan's energy field. Ethan studied them carefully. They were alien in design, unlike anything he had ever seen, and they moved with purpose. Titan pulsed in response, energy shifting along its hull almost like it was preparing for action. "They are watching," Ethan said quietly. "We need to be ready." Titan responded with a soft pulse, confirming his thought. Ethan studied the probes for days, learning their patterns. He realized they were testing him, seeing how he and the ship would respond. And then one day the probes returned with reinforcements, a small fleet, armed and moving fast toward him. Ethan's heart raced. He had never faced a real threat like this before. Titan, however, remained calm, its energy fields glowing brighter, shields adapting to the incoming attacks. Ethan climbed to the main control room and took his seat. He could feel Titan's awareness in every corner of the room. Together they prepared. The alien fleet fired first. Beams of bright energy streaked through space toward them. Ethan instinctively moved the ship, and Titan responded instantly, redirecting shields to block the attacks. One by one, the alien ship's energy pulses were absorbed, deflected, or disabled. Titan responded faster than Ethan could have imagined, moving in patterns that seemed impossible for any pilot to predict. "They don't expect this," Ethan said, leaning closer to the console. He felt a thrill. Even facing dozens of enemy ships, he was in control. Titan had chosen him for a reason. The battle continued for hours. Ethan issued commands, testing Titan's weapons carefully, trying to disable the enemy ships without destroying them. Each move was precise. Each strike was calculated. The aliens grew frustrated, unable to predict what a human mind paired with Titan could do. By the end, the fleet retreated, leaving Ethan and Titan in the quiet of space once more. After the battle, Ethan explored the ship's hidden archives. He had begun to suspect Titan's full power was even greater than he had imagined, and now he wanted answers. In a small chamber deep inside the ship, he accessed a series of holographic files. They were old, ancient, filled with information about Titan's design and history. As he studied the data, he realized the truth. Titan had been built as a weapon of unimaginable power. It could destroy entire star systems with precision. The technology was so advanced that no alien civilization could control it without a human partner. That was why it had been abandoned. Civilizations had feared its power, leaving it to drift in space, waiting for someone worthy. Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. The ship he had been training with, the ship that had chosen him, was capable of ending worlds. And yet it had trusted him, relying on his judgment and his humanity. He understood now that he was not just piloting a powerful weapon, he was responsible for it. Every decision he made could affect countless lives. Days passed as Ethan studied Titan's archives. He learned about the doomsday systems that had been dormant for centuries. Weapons capable of destroying planets, energy channels that could consume entire stars, and defensive systems that could repel any attack. Titan had been built to be the ultimate weapon. And now it was learning to trust a human mind to control it. But Ethan also realized something else. Titan had been designed to follow orders without question until it met a human. Humans were unpredictable, creative, and capable of thinking in ways no alien machine could understand. Titan had chosen him because it recognized something unique. It had waited for someone who could make decisions, someone who could guide it responsibly. Ethan continued training, now with a new sense of purpose. He practiced maneuvers that no alien pilot could anticipate, testing Titan's shields and weapons in simulations that grew increasingly complex. The bond between them strengthened. Titan seemed to anticipate his thoughts, moving faster and responding more accurately with each exercise. It was during one of these exercises that Ethan received a new communication signal. This time, it was not from a human. A massive alien fleet appeared on his scanners, far larger than any he had faced before. They had heard rumors of a human controlling the giant ship, and now they had come to investigate. "They know," Ethan said, his voice tight. "They know we exist." Titan pulsed softly, its lights shifting along the hull almost as if it were calming him. Ethan took a deep breath. He had faced smaller fleets before, but this was different. This was organized, prepared, and dangerous. The alien ships were armed with weapons designed to bypass shields, and they moved in formations that no human could have predicted. The first shots were fired, and energy beams streaked toward Titan. Ethan instinctively moved the ship, and Titan's shields absorbed the impact. He issued commands, firing weapons in precise patterns, disabling enemy ships without destroying them. The aliens were surprised, unable to predict the human tactics paired with Titan's power. Hours passed, and the battle raged. Ethan learned to trust Titan completely, relying on the ship's instincts as much as his own. The alien fleet began to falter, unable to adapt to the unpredictable movements and strategies of a human pilot paired with a living starship. By the end, the fleet retreated, leaving Ethan and Titan alone in space once more. After the battle, Ethan felt both relief and unease. He had seen firsthand what Titan could do, and he knew the galaxy would not forget their presence. Other civilizations would come, testing him, trying to take Titan for themselves. He needed to understand the full extent of the ship's abilities before facing the next threat. He returned to the archives, studying the ancient holograms and files. Titan had been built not just for war, but for control. It had systems capable of creating defensive perimeters, energy shields that could cover entire planets, and weapons that could obliterate enemy fleets. The ship was a force beyond imagination, and now it was learning to respond to a human mind. Ethan realized the importance of restraint. Titan's power was immense, but using it carelessly could destroy everything. He needed to be careful, precise, and thoughtful. Every decision mattered, and yet he felt a sense of confidence growing. He had survived battles before, learned Titan's capabilities, and understood its mind. He could face the galaxy's challenges as long as he and Titan remained united. As he rested that night in a small chamber near the control room, Ethan reflected on how far they had come. Titan had chosen him, taught him, and trusted him with power that no human had ever known. Together, they had defeated fleets, avoided destruction, and grown stronger with each encounter. But the galaxy was vast, and danger was still out there, waiting. Ethan's mind wandered to the civilizations that had abandoned Titan. They had feared its power, leaving it behind in a quiet sector of space. But now it was different. Titan had found a human who could guide it, teach it, and use its power responsibly. And in doing so, they had become a new force in the galaxy, one that no alien race could predict or control. The following weeks were filled with training and preparation. Ethan tested Titan's speed, shields, and weapons, learning to move the massive ship with precision. They practiced evasive maneuvers, energy redirection, and simulated attacks. Titan adapted quickly, responding to his commands and anticipating his thoughts. Their bond grew stronger every day. One evening, as Ethan observed the stars through the ship's viewing port, Titan pulsed softly, and a new thought entered his mind. "They will come again," the ship said. "I know," Ethan replied, "and we will be ready." He felt a mixture of excitement and fear. The galaxy had begun to notice them, and soon larger fleets would arrive. But he also knew that Titan was learning, growing, and adapting, and so was he. Ethan smiled. The galaxy might fear them, but they had something no alien could understand: a human mind and a living starship working together. And that made them unpredictable, powerful, and unstoppable. The stars stretched out before them, vast and endless. Ethan and Titan had faced the first threats, learned the secrets of the ship, and discovered its true potential. But this was only the beginning. The galaxy had left them behind once, but now they were ready to show that humans could master power unlike anything else. And as Titan pulsed gently beneath him, Ethan knew that together they could face any challenge, protect the innocent, and survive whatever the galaxy sent next. Ethan sat in the control room, staring at the star maps. Titan hummed softly beneath him, its lights pulsing in a rhythm that felt like calm breathing. The galaxy had begun to notice them. Scout reports indicated alien fleets moving toward their sector, fleets large enough to destroy anything in their path. Ethan knew the time had come. They could no longer hide. "They are coming for us," he said softly. Titan pulsed in response, confirming his thought. "We will face them together," the ship's voice echoed in his mind. "We are ready." Ethan took a deep breath and prepared. He had spent months training, learning Titan systems, understanding its power, and mastering the bond between human and ship. Now all that knowledge and experience would be put to the test. The first fleet appeared on the scanners the next day. Hundreds of ships, armed and moving fast, filling the space around them like a living storm. Ethan felt the familiar thrill of fear mixed with excitement. This was the moment they had been preparing for. Titan responded instantly. Shields flared, energy fields expanded, and the massive engines prepared for evasive maneuvers. Ethan guided the ship with calm precision, relying on instinct and training. Together, they became a single entity, moving, thinking, and acting as one. The aliens fired first. Beams of energy streaked through space, targeting Titan. Ethan instinctively moved, and Titan's shields absorbed the attacks. Energy pulses reflected back, disabling several enemy ships without destroying them. The aliens were confused. They had expected a human to be weak, to panic, to fail. But they had underestimated the bond between human and starship. Ethan maneuvered Titan through the fleet with skill no alien pilot could predict. He dodged energy beams, fired carefully calculated pulses, and guided Titan's weapons with precision. Every move was deliberate. Every strike was controlled. The alien fleets could not anticipate his actions because he thought like a human, unpredictable and creative. Hours passed. The battle raged across the sector. Alien ships tried to surround Titan to overwhelm it with numbers, but Ethan and the ship were always one step ahead. Titan's systems adapted instantly, shields shifting to block attacks, weapons targeting the most threatening enemies, energy pulses moving faster than the human eye could follow. During a brief lull, Ethan accessed Titan's archives again. He realized that the ship's hidden systems, the doomsday weapons capable of destroying entire planets, were now within his control. He could unleash them, obliterate the fleets, and end the threat in minutes. But he hesitated. Using such power carelessly would make him no different from the civilizations that had abandoned Titan. Humanity was unique because it could choose restraint. He would not use this power recklessly. Instead, he relied on precision, strategy, and creativity. He used Titan's energy pulses to disable enemy ships without killing crews, redirecting beams to block attacks, and carefully maneuvering the ship through the chaos. The alien fleets began to falter, confused and frustrated. They could not predict a human mind paired with Titan's power. One of the enemy commanders attempted a direct assault, a massive ship moving straight toward Titan at full speed. Ethan calculated the trajectory, guided Titan's shields, and redirected energy beams to stop it. The ship's engines groaned under the strain, but Titan responded perfectly. The enemy vessel was disabled, spinning into space, no lives lost. Ethan realized that the galaxy had never seen anything like this. A human guiding a living starship, using power responsibly and creatively. The aliens had expected fear, aggression, or chaos. Instead, they encountered strategy, skill, and precision. As the battle continued, reports came in of smaller fleets retreating. Other civilizations had been watching, curious about the strange human controlling the massive ship. They saw how Ethan and Titan moved, how the alien fleets were defeated without unnecessary destruction. And slowly, respect began to replace fear. After days of continuous combat, the alien fleets finally withdrew. Ethan and Titan floated in the calm of space, battered but intact. The ship's lights pulsed gently, as if sighing with relief. Ethan leaned back in his seat, exhausted but exhilarated. "We did it," he said softly. Titan responded with a slow pulse, a silent agreement, but the experience had changed him. He understood now the true responsibility of controlling such power. Titan had chosen him, but it was not just a weapon. It was a partner, a guardian, and a force for protecting life, not destroying it. He vowed never to misuse its power. In the following weeks, Ethan used Titan to help others. He protected colonies from natural disasters, guided lost ships through dangerous space, and mediated conflicts between smaller factions. His reputation grew. He became a symbol of human ingenuity, creativity, and restraint. Other civilizations began to see humans differently. They realized that unpredictability, intuition, and courage could master power that no alien race could control. Titan's bond with him deepened as well. The ship became more responsive, more aware, and more protective of its human partner. Together, they explored new sectors of space, uncovering ancient ruins, lost technologies, and remnants of civilizations long gone. Each discovery taught them more about the galaxy and about each other. One day, a human convoy appeared on their scanners, lost and under attack by a rogue fleet. Ethan guided Titan to intercept. They arrived just in time. Using precision strikes, they disabled the rogue ships, protecting the convoy without causing casualties. The humans aboard the convoy cheered, amazed at the massive ship controlled by one person. Ethan smiled. He realized that humanity, no matter how small, could make a difference when paired with courage, skill, and trust. News of Ethan and Titan spread quickly. Alien civilizations that had once feared humans began to approach with caution, curiosity, and even respect. Diplomats reached out, hoping to learn from the human who had controlled a living starship and used its power responsibly. Ethan responded carefully, always keeping Titan by his side, ensuring that their strength was never used for aggression. In private moments, Ethan would sit in the observation deck, looking out at the stars and reflect on how far they had come. Titan pulsed softly beneath him, lights flowing like a heartbeat. He thought about the civilizations that had abandoned the ship, the alien fleets that had attacked them, and the humans who had once doubted their own potential. And he knew that they had changed the galaxy's view of humanity forever. "They will remember us," he said softly. Titan pulsed in agreement. "But we must be careful," he added. "Power must be guided with wisdom, not used for fear or control." Ethan trained daily with Titan, continuing to refine their coordination. They ran simulations, explored new systems, and tested the ship's capabilities in controlled environments. Every day, he learned something new about the ship, about himself, and about what it meant to be human in a galaxy that often underestimated them. One morning, as they passed near a cluster of uncharted planets, Titan pulsed suddenly, sending a stream of light and images into Ethan's mind. He saw ancient ruins, structures designed by civilizations long gone, and artifacts that radiated energy similar to Titan's own. It was a reminder that the galaxy was vast, full of mysteries, dangers, and possibilities. Ethan smiled. "We have work to do," he said. Titan pulsed again, a quiet acknowledgement. Together, they would explore, protect, and guide, using power wisely and proving that humanity could achieve greatness even in the most dangerous corners of space. Months passed. Ethan and Titan became legends. They stopped conflicts before they began, protected colonies, and uncovered secrets that many believed were lost forever. Humans began to realize that their creativity, courage, and intuition were unmatched, even in a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations. And Titan, once abandoned, now moved with purpose, its immense power guided by a human mind. One evening, as Ethan rested in the observation deck, he reflected on their journey. He had discovered Titan by chance, bonded with it, trained, and faced fleets that no one else could. He had learned restraint, strategy, and the true meaning of responsibility. The galaxy had once left them behind, but now they had changed it. "You chose me," he said softly to the ship, "and I will never let you down." Titan pulsed gently, a warm, steady light flowing through the hull. Ethan knew they were more than a human and a ship. They were partners, equals, and guardians of a galaxy that had underestimated both of them. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of unknown dangers and hidden wonders. Ethan and Titan would face them together, proving that humans could rise to any challenge, master unimaginable power, and guide it with wisdom, courage, and heart. And as they moved forward into the vast expanse of space, Ethan felt a sense of peace and purpose. The galaxy had left him behind once, but now, with Titan by his side, he would shape its future, one careful, brave decision at a time. They were a new force in the galaxy, human and Starship bound together, unpredictable, unstoppable, and ready for whatever came next. Left behind by the galaxy, a giant starship chose a human and became a devastating weapon.